I want to show you two clips of Kim Cheatle, Director of Secret Service. She's being questioned because, they said, do you have the guy's phone? We don't. Did you know that he was searching what he was searching day before? We did. Did you go and find out? Have you gone to the property? Not yet. Do you think there's any kind of improvements or adjustments you guys can make? Not really. We're not making any adjustments to the RNC. Okay. Is there anything, was there anything when he shot the rifle, any residual effects? Did you guys go look at the stuff? No, we power washed it. Pictures of the FBI power washing, all this kind of stuff, weird. But here's her being questioned. And one of the things that two answers don't add up. Rob, if you want to play this clip, play the one first where she says she doesn't, and then the one that says she does. Whichever way you want to go, I'll let you lead the way.
Now, since the assassination attempt, you are under oath, reminding you, have you communicated with anyone at the White House on an encrypted messaging app like Signal? Yes or no?
No, I have not.
Are you willing to surrender your personal phone for analysis?
If I am required to do so.
Okay. I will look into making that request because I would like to see your personal phone to see if you're communicating over encrypted messaging apps.
Now, okay, here's another one. Go ahead, Rob.
Representative Boebert asked earlier about using encrypted apps that you said you have not used, I guess, Signal. Have you used any encrypted app to communicate from your personal device?
I do, on occasion, use encrypted apps to communicate.
So you use some form of an encrypted app to communicate with people within the federal government, with local law enforcement? Whom are you communicating using encrypted apps?
Many times it's with colleagues and associates.
So you're communicating with colleagues on a personal device?
She's not allowed to do
There
that.
are times that the Secret Service, when we work internationally with some of our partners, that they don't have the same texting capability.
And you're not able to do that with your government-issued device?
Recently, we have been able to install some of those apps on government devices.
Okay. Let's talk about some of the things
you can pause it right
that we can.
What does that make you think about? Anything or not really?
Now, let me take you back to the beginning.
Please.
You remember me talking about professional law enforcement and politics appointment? She was a political appointee. So what was her job in the Secret Service before? I mean, she served some time. I can't answer that question. But it's obvious to me that she wasn't qualified to be in that position. When she's under that kind of questioning, I'm not familiar with that app, but certainly to suggest that someone in that high ranking a position would not be on an encrypted app in order to take care of national, international business that should never be intercepted because it could put people's lives at risk. They have that. Why didn't she just say that? Well, of course I've talked on encrypted apps. That's how we keep sensitive, confidential information sensitive and confidential so that the bad actors who are actively trying to attack us don't actively attack us. They deal with some pretty remarkably dangerous events when it comes to international terrorism.
At this point, I'll just move on because.
But why didn't she say that?
I mean, listen, this is, for me, I am trying to find out why this was handled the way that it was. When 20 years from now, when we go to movies, okay, and you're going to be around for a while because you're active, you're working, you're healthy, you'll be seeing movies in 20 years. When we go to movies in 20 years, Trump, 98, they'll be making movies about him. There's going to be more movies being made about this man than any other president in the history of mankind. Okay,
I believe that.
And this Friday we're having a premiere at our comedy club down the street, and we're gonna have Dennis Quaid there, who is starring Reagan, and that coming up we're gonna have a couple hundred people in the audience to watch the movie with us, and then Dennis Quaid afterwards gonna come in, and him and I are gonna do a 2 or 3 hour podcast together, talking about this. But even as great as Ronald Reagan was liked by the opposition. Like even, Gorbachev liked him. He was liked, okay? And he was loved, and he was feared by Iran, by others, and he was respected. He had the four, right? If you put Reagan with Trump, I don't know if Trump's likability scores as high because he's probably the greatest troller of all time. I don't know anybody that's a better troller and knowing how to get under people's skin like he does. That wasn't Reagan. Reagan didn't try to get under your skin. Trump's a different kind of a guy. So he is hated by the opposition more than Reagan was ever hated. Absolutely hated. So that causes one to sit there and say, there's many different ways for, you've seen in movies where it's like, look, tonight, take tonight off. The other day I had Jeffrey Epstein's brother call me, said he wants to be on a podcast. Great. We do a 2-hour podcast together, doesn't show his face. He doesn't believe that his brother committed suicide. He believes he was killed. Why would you think he was killed? And it's kind of going through the whole process. Of course, it's your only brother. You want to know. I mean, this is like your guy that you have stories with. When we sit there, you go through the stories, you're like, hey, you know what? Tonight, don't worry about doing too much accountability tonight. You guys should be fine tonight. Really? You know these types of stories. We've seen all these horror stories, what happens. The movie Lawless. I don't know if you've seen the movie Lawless with Tom Hardy. I don't know if you're a movie guy or not, but
in these uncertain times, if there's anything we need people to believe the future looks bright. So if you've heard about me saying this mission to you, we're on a mission to get 1 million people to wear this gear, and this is what we're doing. If you buy one of these hats, there's a category of buying one hat, getting the second one free. If you haven't yet worn this gear publicly, go ahead and test it out. Buy some of the gear, wear it in public, and see how many people will stop by and say, you also watch Valuetainment? You also follow PBD Podcast? I do too. Place your order. Go to vtmerch.com, click on the link above or below, place your order, and represent the VT and the PBD Podcast gear.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.